All right, so welcome everyone to another deep dive with us.
Yes, welcome.
And today we are going to be looking at Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
And specifically, could he ever be the president of the United States?
Interesting question.
It is. And we've got a great article here that digs into that very question.
Very relevant.
Yeah, it is really relevant given everything that is going on these days.
Absolutely.
And, you would think that would be a pretty simple question to answer.
Right.
Right, like he can or he can't.
Yeah, you would think it's a yes or no.
Yeah, but it turns out
Well, it's a little more complicated than that.
it is more complicated. And so actually the article starts out with kind of a bombshell right away.
Okay.
It says that Elon Musk, despite all of his power, all of his influence, actually cannot be the president.
So he can't be president?
No.
And why is that?
Well,
Does it have something to do with the Constitution?
it does. It has to do with that natural-born citizen clause that we always hear about.
Right.
So just as a reminder, he was born in South Africa.
I'd forgotten that.
Yeah, then he became a U.S. citizen later on in 2002.
Okay, so that settles it then.
Well, you would think so, right?
He can't be president.
Case closed. But
But there is always a but.
the article goes on to point out that there's a loophole.
Oh, a loophole. Tell me more.
Yeah, and it's a pretty fascinating one.
Okay.
So apparently cabinet positions, they don't have that same requirement of being a natural-born citizen.
That's interesting.
It is.
So you're saying he could be in the cabinet?
Potentially, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And the article actually gives some historical examples of this. For example, you've got Henry Kissinger
Of course.
and Madeleine Albright.
Right.
They were both born outside of the U.S., and they both served in cabinet positions.
That's right. I had forgotten that.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you don't really think about until it's right there in front of you.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, and I vaguely remember that Trump at one point even kind of like floated the idea of having Musk in his cabinet.
Wow.
And the article talks about that too. Yeah, it mentions how Trump initially, was really praising Musk, calling him this new star and all this,
Of course.
and suggesting that maybe, a cabinet role would be a good fit for him.
Right.
But then,
He changed his mind.
well, yeah, he kind of backpedaled and said something like, running SpaceX and Tesla, that would be too demanding to also have a cabinet position.
Oh, so you're saying that Trump thought it would be too much work.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's Trump, right?
Yeah, hard to say what he was really thinking.
Totally. But, even just the fact that it was a possibility, it really gets you thinking,
For sure.
like, what would that have looked like?
Yeah, that would have been a very interesting dynamic.
It would have. But, thinking about this whole cabinet possibility,
Yeah.
it brings up another big question that the article digs into.
And what's that?
Conflict of interest.
Oh, of course.
Right. Like the article talks about how traditionally anyone who's, going into a really high-level government position, they have to divest from their businesses.
Right.
Anything that could be a conflict of interest.
Makes sense.
Right. And so, the article uses Trump as the obvious example here.
Right, that makes sense.
He refused to divest from his businesses.
That was a whole thing.
It was a huge controversy.
Hmm.
And so, it makes you wonder with Musk, like if he were to seriously pursue a cabinet position, would he follow that norm? Would he actually divest
Or would he be more like Trump?
Exactly.
That's the question.
It is a big question. And it kind of speaks to this broader point, right? Like, what are his true ambitions? Is he actually interested in serving in the government?
We're right.
Or is it just another way for him to kind of stay in the spotlight?
Or just to make more money.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So, wow, this deep dive has really opened up a can of worms. We've gone over the constitutional roadblocks, right? We've talked about those historical precedents. We've even touched on some of these potential ethical dilemmas.
It's complicated.
It is complicated. And so now, now you've got all the info.
Yeah.
What do you think? Does Elon Musk have real political ambitions, or is this all just a sideshow?
Something to think about, for sure.
Yeah, definitely something to ponder.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive,
Yeah, thank you.
and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.